And then it became like kind of like a rule that, okay, everyone knows like how to work with the lights and how we create the dramaturgy, what will be the characters that we are playing in this performance. And then in overall we created, I think like I don't know 3 years ago or 4 or I don't remember. It became again like really important that we don't really speak about like or we don't give like direction to each other, but we trust that what we are building together is gonna work, and that's how it happened. Like for me, it's really important. Like for example, when I think about like technology, that I'm interested in it, but it's not like I think like it's not gonna be my part, like what I'm gonna do in a performance. But it's really good to know like different things. And for example, in Baby, I really loved this what Tommy said, this example that we're gonna use our chat history as a like how we're gonna create a language from this. So it's gonna be basically the merged version of how 3 of us are speaking together. That's gonna be the language of the baby, but it didn't happen because of some privacy reason of Facebook and I don't know. But then you imagine that you're gonna write this whole storyline with this idea. And also for me, it happened a lot that we started with this motion capture, and I see these pieces everywhere. That the technology goes until this point that we create, or they create an avatar, and there is one person with this like funny clothes, and they are dancing in front of the picture. And then you can see that the avatar is doing the same, but with like I don't know 100 hands. And I really like this. Version that we twist this, that we try this, and sometimes also because we don't have the money or the technical equipment for things, but also now we just like decided that we don't care about like this kind of stuff that much, that we go like with building this augmented reality and there's going to be this character, but then there is, for example, some like templates from games, if I understand that, and then I see if I'm doing something, how this game character is doing in the augmented reality, but then we are not, or I'm not doing this, that, okay, let's teach this character, like how should they move, but like how I can teach or like how I can learn from the technology, or like technology, like this kind of visual stuff. And also, just one last thing, that how we create a word or something in a performance, it's what we said like before in this workshop, that we work a lot with like different games, and in this previous performance, this aura, we created a word together, and then it was for me really, I don't know, for me it's like really important as a memory that how we work together, that there was something what we were creating together, and there was a common understanding or common ground where we started from, but after we split, and then Tommy is doing something on the computer. So there is the dramaturgy, or there is the thing what we or the tools what we're gonna create, and Julia is working on the I don't know some text or some like everyone is doing everything, but then there is this common ground, and then it's like kind of like giving a present to each other that what's gonna be the final thing. So for me, it's all the time like this. I don't know. I answered really long. Sorry.
Make it a little longer. So one other thing which is very important is that we, all 3 of us, have our individual practices, but we've been like working closely together for years simultaneously, and it's not because of grants or different opportunities. It's because we like to spend time with each other and like the way we can work with each other. So it's not that we want to work with technology, and that's why we work with Tommy, who knows how technology works. There's certain parts we don't really care about. We just know that he's really good at it, and we just like the outcome of our collaborations and like the way we can collaborate with each other, and that's what makes us moving. And that's also why we don't really make technology our topic. We just use it on our own way.
And sorry, just because I don't really know a lot of stuff about like technology and how does it work and these kind of things. But since there is a lot of like unknown question, or I don't know what we are using, this is gonna work, or I don't know, a lot of like so many times it turns out on the day of the performance, you know, that what's gonna be what's gonna happen. And for me, it gives this like really like a lot of like freedom, because in my own practices, I feel it's like really like this strict, and I feel that with Holo I can try out a lot of like different stuff. It would be like a playground, you know, that normally I wouldn't come up with this kind of ideas, but here I feel that we can try out like new stuff, or I don't know. Maybe it's part of this like technology. I don't know.
Just to add something that because maybe it sounded like that we don't, you know, there is no technology visible in our performances, but there is a lot actually that we actually, you know, use, and they are visible mostly in individual parts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, switch to another question.
It is like I assume there's always like hidden, not labor, but some things that to make things the show going. Yeah, also I'm curious. Like in the residency you had, you were not like in the same space, and now you are like three together and preparing the show for next week. Like how did it change dynamics, or like how is it? Or is it like, are you happy being three together? Like how do you feel now?
We can go on by one. I think it's definitely much better that you are here, so we can work as before. We started working on Baby, and that's our like space to work in. So that's going back to normal, let's say.
Yeah, for me better too. I don't know, just to add something that for me this one it was really hard in Ljubljana, because we spent how much? Like 6 weeks in Ljubljana. It's also really funny that these foundings all the time like supporting that you have to travel somewhere and we're there, where you don't actually know no one and you don't know that was the system there and so like, basically the half of it is just like get to know the city, and then you can start. Yeah, so I don't know. This is something what I recognize, but also for me what was weird that because Julia was in New York, so there was a time difference and we were working almost every day together, but like with Tommy we were working whether separately or together during the day, and at 6 o'clock we had this Zoom meeting, so it was a bit like if we would have a boss or something where like, and we should present to him that what we were working on, which wasn't, it wasn't like this, but it wasn't so comfortable, and now I really feel that it's good that we are together, we can share the work, and
We are much faster.
Yeah.
Also, like one thing we've been dealing a lot with is like how you make decisions collectively, and making decisions collectively like online is actually much more difficult because like even though I wasn't officially part of the residency, like I kind of had the role, because I think like when we are brainstorming together, like working on something, like I think I'm the one who's like with the skill to like summarize things, or like they say a lot of good ideas, and then like okay, write something, but it's like everyone's ideas are included, but it's I'm the one summarizing it. It sometimes felt like there's like tension that I'm like okay, 6 p.m. we need to talk to July, and I was like okay, what did you do? So it's really not something which we enjoy more than actually spending time with each other, even though technology is very great.
And also, I think it's important that we were supposed to do a presentation or a showing of the work, which was a bit like, wasn't really obvious that it's a work in progress presentation or kind of like a premiere. And I think it was supposed to call premiere also. It's like on the, and I think like, to be honest, we really treated this presentation if it would be a work in progress presentation. And now this one, it's gonna be like, it's also really different, like since we're gonna play it in more venues, it's gonna be really different, like how we present it. Like for example in Truffle there's gonna be the big, like not the biggest, but like it's gonna be like we involve more people because we know locals, it's gonna be a lot of like friends, artists involved, but they are coming from different disciplines. And yeah, also I think like here we know the techniques and we're gonna work with light technician, we know her since ages, so it's really different. So I really feel that now that's gonna be the premiere of this piece because we are together and yeah.
It was a showcase.
Yeah.
Continuing the answer to this previous question,
Sorry.
no, it is related. Yeah, so like we individually have our own skills, and we obviously use them. But the real, like the soul of our works is when we spend time together and come up with this like stupid ideas that sound ridiculous and weird, but they're actually really great. And that's only possible if we're like together, because also like we have a lot of work and it's like exhausting, but it's fun, and we have a lot of fun, and these performances are about like how we have that fun and how we want to share those moments with others, more or less. But in Ljubljana it was different because
We didn't have anything.
we didn't really have any fun.
We had some fun.
But I think this like aspect of like having fun is really like reflected in the work. I mean, it has this like dark aesthetic as well, but also like because MODINA residency, we also embrace audience participation, audience interaction, and you really took that idea from the like playful way. And maybe can you give a bit of a teaser like how it's going to be? Like it's not going to be like a frontal performance, I assume. And from the audience, what should we expect as an audience?
Yeah, so we will start the setup process tomorrow and the day after, where we have the first rehearsals for this version. But the whole thing in audience participation is that we don't invite the people for a performance, even though it is a performance, but we create a situation where they are kind of situated in that event, basically. Which in this case, it's going to be our birthday, that we will kind of celebrate, kind of mourn in different ways. And this is the main idea behind the participation, that viewers or like audience are part of the event and they also create that event together with us, sort of, even though we create the infrastructure for that event. And there are parts of like interaction where they are actually doing stuff. We invite them to do stuff. I don't want to say what, but there are like very like interactive parts with the audience.
And I think it's also like in our previous work, it's really important that we all the time try to create a situation for the audience where we invite them. So we created in like previous performances also that it was like a secret location, so you had to join a chat group and there was a meeting point and you had to come to the meeting point where you knew the location, you got the entry card. So we all the time like do this kind of like games. And yeah, I think it's also in this one for me it's really important that it's really like our birthday or like our collective's birthday. And yeah, we want to invite, and also I think there's going to be a special one here in Budapest that people like some people, I mean, like a lot of people, they followed what we did in the past 7 years, and we can really celebrate with them now. This or like, so here is gonna be like, I don't know, special.
The last thought to this, it's also a way of like immersing the audience into like these stories, because like since we create situations, they may be surreal or made up, but they're real. That's the situation. We're there, and and that's, I think, an interesting way in theater to blur the line between like what's art and what's reality. And we've been playing a lot with that, mainly working with live action role play and other methods. And yeah, this other project we did with the group chats, and like there was even like a personality test based on which they ended up in different groups. And we actually had to do that because of COVID restrictions, when we weren't allowed to like. I mean, we didn't know for how long the restrictions will remain, and then luckily at the last moment we were allowed to do the show, like announce location in these groups. So, but that was also cool. We invited them to meet us, and we told the story, and we had a lot of fun. Even though it was very dark, because it was about like a very dark future vision.
Thank you so much. And so in like 7 minutes, we are starting the next program, so we have to like wrap up just to keep the next schedule. So at 4, we have Still Moving downstairs. Everyone's invited to join. And at 6, there's Gateless. And at 7, we'll have another round of artist talk with the 2 other duos. And I'm again moderating. And your performance is going to be on 9th on Sunday at 12 here. So please join. And is there any other like announcements from you? I don't know if it's the moment to.
No.
If you want.
There is one, but we can't announce it yet.
What is it?
It's okay if you cannot announce, but there will be some kind of announcement.
You will actually, like, you will see from the show.
Yes.
This will be the honest. I don't think you're staying until next Sunday.
So definitely check out the performance on 9th. And thank you, Polo, for being here. And let's enjoy the MODINA and what's the other things. I don't know, there are a lot of things happening, so please check out the program. And yes, so I don't know how to wrap this up. Thank you for people watching online, and we'll come back to you soon in the next artist talk. So thank you so much.
Thank you. How many viewers? 1, actually. No.
But it's also like has to be recorded. Deliverables and so on.
I know that was the reason you realized.